Happy Holy Hump Day on this September 9th, everyone. I'm Pastor Robert. Welcome to this midweek time where I have an opportunity to share some church news and offer some spiritual thoughts and reflections. I am on the third floor of our church building. This is a multi-use space, and it's a wonderful meeting room where I've been having my pastor's Bible studies the past few years. Ever since we had the capital campaign, making all those building improvements, we added the elevator that goes to all the floors, and that made this top floor of our church more usable. And we took out this long wall that was this hallway. We just took out that wall, and we just made it this big space where you can have, we've had meetings up here of about 40 people. I know my Bible studies usually have around 20 or more people. And so you can set up tables, and there's the newsprint that you can see behind me on the easel. And actually those notes are from my last pastor's Bible study, which was way back in the fall of 2019. So approaching a year ago was my last pastor's Bible study because then COVID-19 hit when I was going to start a spring Bible study. And I was really looking forward to that, but then we had to close our building. So I'm saying all of that to let you know that I am going to offer a Zoom pastor's Bible study, which will begin Monday, September 28. It'll be for 6 weeks, so it's starting the end of this month, and it'll be at 6:30 till 7:30 in the evening. And you can participate if you sign up by sending me an email. Then I'll have your email and use that email to invite you to this Zoom Bible study. So it's all going to be on your computer or your iPad or what have you, and we'll all be appearing on the computer, and we'll be able to see each other, and I'll be able to offer the Bible study through Zoom. So we are letting people know about that in our church through announcements, but wanted you to know that with our Holy Hump Day video. And for the fall Bible study, it is called Faithful and Inclusive Approach to the Bible. And I'll be using this resource, which is out of Cokesbury, and it's really meant to help us to look at the Bible from our Wesleyan Methodist approach, in which we look at the context of when the scriptures were written and the original listeners of those scripture passages, and then seeing how we faithfully can apply what we read in Scripture to our own day and age. And so I'm really looking forward to that. And I'll be able to show some videos through this Zoom online, along with us having some discussion over each topic. I wanted to share what those topics are for each of those 6 weeks. So the first week, September 28th, that Monday night, it'll be How United Methodists Interpret Scripture. And then the following Monday, it'll be Old Testament passages. And then the third Monday will be the influence of culture on how we read the Bible. And then the fourth week, we're going to look at the topic New Testament passages. And the fifth week will be the Jesus ethic. What did Christ say? And then it'll conclude with the sixth week, the sixth Monday night, which is Where does the United Methodist Church go from here? And that's going to relate specifically to next year's special, or it's not a special general conference, it just got moved to August of 2021 due to COVID-19. But they're going to be talking about where do we go from here related to the different opinions, scriptural approaches to homosexuality, LGBTQ issues. So that is really the issue at the forefront for that closing session. But overall, this is going to really help us, this material, to think through how do we interpret the Bible? How do we know that we're interpreting it in the way that we should be interpreting it? And there's no real clear answer with that, but there's a lot for us to consider when we read the Bible and seek to apply it to our day and age. And I wanted to share this with you. This is something that I used in previous pastors' Bible studies, where I like to remind people and remind myself that the Bible is an ancient, ambiguous, and diverse book. I just wanted to share some thoughts about that for this Holy Hump Day and just have you reflect on that because I think these are going to be addressed to various degrees through this new resource I have on faithful and inclusive approach to the Bible. But this comes from the Bible scholar Pete Enns, these three words. It's ancient, it's ambiguous, and it's diverse. And that's not to scare us off, it's just to help us to see that the Bible is a book that is invites us to think through when it was originally written, and what did it mean to the people when they did write these passages. So let's think about the Bible as ancient. So you think about it, the Bible stories that were eventually written down, those were probably told prior to 1000 BC in various forms. And then the Bible that we have it today, here's my Bible that I used for worship here. The Bible that we have today, 66 books, was not put into its final form of those 66 books until after the time of Jesus, of course, but past 100 AD. So you're talking about many centuries that it took for the Bible to be formed in what we now have as the present form. So it is an ancient book. And to put that in perspective, the Bible was written as long ago as it is for us to think about how people 3,000 years from today, from 2020, will view our ways of thinking and living in our day and age. So can you imagine 3,000 years in the future, people looking back upon us and how we did things and how we lived? It wouldn't be really easy maybe to figure that out. So we have the same issue with looking back many, many centuries in the past to try to understand why people in Bible times did things, thought things the way they did. So it's an ancient book. It's also an ambiguous book because there are some parts of the Bible that seem to justify slavery, for example, but then there are scriptures that seem to encourage its abolition. So, it's just the reality of the time period it was written. But then there were these emerging new ways of looking at like a topic like slavery. The Bible seems to justify keeping women subordinate to men. But then it also seems to be fully emancipating them. And so you have this dichotomy even over women's issues. And it seems to justify political power, but then it oftentimes denounces political power. So it does both of these things. It's on the left and on the right. And it's up to us to really think through, well, what was going on when those Bible passages were written. And because we want to make sure that we apply it in a way that is the way that we as people of faith should see it and view it. And the last piece is it's not only ancient and ambiguous, it's also diverse. There is not one voice on most subjects, but often conflicting and contradictory voices, because it was written by various writers who lived at different times in different places and under different circumstances, and who wrote for different purposes. So that's why so much diversity in it. But let me just say this. The fact that it's an ancient book, it's an ambiguous book, and it's a diverse book makes it such a rich and incredibly helpful spiritual tool for us, because there's so much that we have to learn about it. And so that gets back to this pastor's Bible study that I'm going to start the last Monday of September with this focus on being faithful and inclusive in our approach to the Bible. So please sign up for that, and we can have as many people as we need on this Zoom meeting, and I'll be the moderator for it, and it'll be an hour long on Monday night, 6:30 to 7:30. So looking forward to that. So many neat things that we're able to do in this fall season, even though we're still doing things online and we don't have the church building reopen, but we can still be the church. And so I'm looking forward to starting Pastor's Bible Study again after almost a full year of not having a Pastor's Bible Study. May you be blessed today, and look forward to having you participate with this Sunday's online worship service. God bless.